Hello and welcome to another episode of Atlanta Brick Co. TV. I'm your host Mark, and today we are joined by Steven.
Hey guys!
And the Tree Guardians.
The Tree Guys, the Tree Guardians, yes, some of my best work.
I would say so, Steven.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you bringing these in the studio to talk about today. And that's the main subject of our video is Steven's Big Tree Guys. These are exclusively yours. These aren't a collaboration like the one on Lego Masters, right?
Nope, these are all me. When we were done with the show, you built the majority of that world serpent which we had, which was amazing.
A little more.
That's right. And when the finale finally aired, I was able to start working on these guys. I built this one first, and then the brown one.
So this is the first remake of the Warden of the Woods idea, but in different color scheme.
And a lot smaller. So this is the Birch Baron, and this is the Red Oak Regent. And there's obviously the Warden of the Woods. You know, everything is, the letters match. I don't know what the word is for that.
Alliteration.
Yeah, that's the one. So yeah, these guys were extremely fun. And we built them for the same reason we built the World Serpent, which was to bring parts of the show in spirit to the public, so that people could actually
with a little different, upgraded maybe,
improved upon, because the Warden, he is absolutely amazing. He's a total unit, but he was built extremely quickly. And if you look, there's some rough edges, missed areas,
little bit like not perfectly smooth.
He's amazing, but it's like I wouldn't do that again. I would do something a lot smaller and more manageable and transportable and stuff like that.
These are a lot sleeker.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're a lot more refined,
and more like user friendly.
So when you started working on the Birch Baron over here, what were some of the main things that you would like as the top priorities as far as changing from the Warden?
Well, I wanted to do a new color scheme because we can't legally rebuild the Warden of the Woods. We don't actually own the design. We built it for Fox, essentially.
Yeah, but not an exact copy at all.
Yeah, no. But for the improvements, I just wanted to make everything a little smoother. I wanted to carry over, we had a lot of dark brown in the Warden as well. I wanted to carry over that theme with the color. Now, the Warden had color going through him, like lights going through him. He had green windows, essentially, in his legs and in his waist. Halfway up, though, we kind of abandoned it because it was just too much work. So I figured I just won't even bother. I'll just make his whole thing solid, and then we'll have the eyes light up. So,
So this is a little less emphasis on lighting because it's not part of the challenge. That was the point of the build.
That was very essential, which was lighting was essential for the build. And I also didn't have a platform for him. This one I do. But now that makes him even more easy to move around because the Warden was snapped down to the big one. So.
Literally fused to the landscape.
And the wires were going through. You couldn't pull them off if you wanted to. So that was definitely an improvement for that. But as far as, it's really close. Like, it's really similar as far as aesthetics.
Not close in size, though.
Not even a little bit. This is about the size of one of the Warden's legs, folks. To give you an idea, his foot is based on an 8x8, a little overhang here and there. But the Warden was based on a 16x16.
Yeah,
so he's about 16x16. He's like 25%, this guy specifically. He's even smaller than him by a few studs here and there. Yeah. But basically by 25% smaller. So that's
actually
crazy.
Maybe more because the Warden's foot fits in his entire foot.
Basically, so his whole leg, just to give you an idea of how just colossal, you've got to have some B-reel of the Warden.
Yeah, well, I'll throw a picture up with you. We can't do full video clips, but we could do a few pictures probably.
Yeah, because it is fun to compare and contrast the two, the three, I guess, now. But which leads me on to this one. Yes. So this one was first, and he went to a lot of trips and shows and stuff, and people loved it.
Just so
I had to do another one. And this time I gave him an instrument. The first one had a staff that lit up like the original. I didn't like it very much, though. It was just okay. It didn't seem to fit. When I did this guy, we did the banjo, and that's everyone's favorite part is the banjo. So I had him sitting on a boulder. I also had a lot of other landscapes and other trees to go with it. I left those at home. They're just simple trees, whatever, just to accent everything.
A little extra flourish.
We don't need them today, though. But no, so this guy came along, and I literally posed myself. I would get in my chair and move my legs the right way. Okay, so the arm does this, and this geometry works here. Shoulders right about here, and I kind of posed myself, and then remembered what sort of the shape was, and then went from there. So he's got a little bit more he's standing up is cool, but sitting down gives almost a little bit more character. Yeah, I don't know. The Red Oak Regent.
The cool thing about this is, this one is nice because he's got he's just got a gentle step forward.
Yeah, just a little bit of a walk forward.
This one's a little bit more involved because you've got him sitting on a rock. He's connected to the rock, but he's sitting, his legs are splayed out a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's got his arms posed just right, so it's really cool. And it's fun that you mentioned using your own body proportions as an example for these guys, One of the best sculptors in the world, Michelangelo, he actually used his own figure as an example for his big muscular marble sculptures.
Was he a big guy?
Yeah, so that's why his sculptures are often really masculine. Even the feminine characters are like bigger and beefier than they need to be.
Because he would use himself.
It's
I
funny.
didn't know that.
So
Okay.
It's an interesting little connection there. So pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a neat little bit.
But I love the character that we've able to capture with just the two eyes. So can you explain a little bit of the magic behind that, that really charming look?
Eyes were very important. So actually, yeah, I went with the eyes because I was going for almost like how R2-D2 and C-3PO, they have a lot of character despite having no movement in their face.
Almost no expression, just dots.
Almost no expression, but they're very memorable. They're very they have lots of emotiveness to them. And part of it, especially with R2-D2, because you can or BB-8, you can put your own emotions onto him.
It just makes a beeping noise, and you imagine he's thinking or smiling.
What is he thinking? What is he saying? Everyone has their own sort of unique interpretation of what's going on. So it's very, it becomes more personal in a way. You make it a little bit vague.
You especially avoid the uncanny valley.
Which is really important, yeah. The more simple, almost like a Nintendo character or a Pokemon sometimes, some of the really simplistic faces, they hold up better, right?
A smiley face, like on a Lego minifigure,
Exactly.
can be more characterized and more approachable than a highly detailed print that doesn't quite work right. If you don't do it just right, it isn't going to look right.
A face can be overdone, and if you keep it simple, which is funny, that's the same thing with the Warden. In fact,
that was the playing with the Warden.
We were playing around with the Warden, and I was going for the Iron Giant. The Iron Giant was one of my, he's a really cool character, brilliant design with those big spotlight eyes, right? And I wanted to capture that as well. And Amy and Jamie were curious, they're like, are you guys going to put it in a mouth? And I'm like, well, he doesn't need to eat or breathe. He eats through his roots and he breathes through his hair. There's no need for a mouth.
We explained it away.
I thought about it. I'm like, he would look like a Tim Burton jack-o'-lantern if I made a mouth for that thing. It'd be terrifying.
It'd be like the Nightmare Before Christmas, but scarier.
It would be. Oh, you know Jack Skellington with those giant eyes and very small mouth?
Yeah.
Well, usually a small mouth.
It's actually not a bad example of keeping it simple.
Keeping it really clean and very easy to get visually. So I figured less is more with these guys. And a lot of people, not to ramble, but a lot of people compare these to Ents, right? I remember Ed was like one of the first people. He's like, oh, it's an Ent. I'm like, yes and no. And so he's not the only one. But Ents are always super gnarly. There's another aspect too. Ents are gnarly, and most fantasy creatures like that, if you go on...
They have a beard,
If you looked up, if you researched tree guys, like tree beings or whatever, Ents and there's other types, they look horrifying. They look like Grimm's fairy tales. They look foreboding, nasty, and vile. They look evil. These
very
guys, but it's because fantasy forests and stuff, and they're always usually very scary and dark and foreboding. But go out to the redwood giants, and you see just how amazing. Go see a national park. And go look at actual nature and how just colorful and vibrant and inviting it all is. That is what I was going for these guys.
Real trees and real big, beautiful forests are really cool to see.
Beautiful. Some of them are scary and gnarly looking, but I went with something way more nice and happy and welcoming, but also a little intimidating at the same time. Just a little bit.
Yeah. So. The one way I like to describe the original Warden, and very much these guys too, is it's the most peaceful looking tree guy you ever saw, but he also has a six-pack and could punch over a skyscraper if he wanted to.
He can literally shove over the Empire State Building. Yeah, it's King Kong of the trees.
Exactly. He can go toe-to-toe with Godzilla and King Kong.
Exactly. Right? That's the vibe, Because nature is really big and powerful in a way, but it's also it's also very beautiful. So,
and charming. So
exactly.
But I love that in the scenes at shows, you often display with minifigures. So if you put a minifigure next to these guys, it gives you an idea of how big they are.
I left one here, the flower girl. Where is she? There she is. So I had a bunch of very colorful woodland characters, like the Acorn Boy usually is around here too. So just to give you an idea how big, there's a minifigure here. Here we go.
So it's like a 5-story building,
basically. 5 or 6 story building, maybe even more than that. So they're absolutely gigantic. So, but they definitely have I don't know. It just works so well.
And describe a little bit one more time about the eyes and how you're using transparent pieces and what kind of lighting are you using back there?
That's a big question from a lot of people. We'll just turn on this guy for now here. So what I usually do is, what I've always done, is I take a small little light pack that you can get they're called fairy lights on Amazon. They're like $3.99. And they have a long LED string, a little wire with LEDs glued to it. And you just sort of gently crumple it up into a ball and then just shove it in his brain. And then these boxes are perfect to Lego dimensions, but they're really close. I just literally, with the friction, just slide it in the back, and the switch is exposed right here. And it works perfectly, and you just turn it on, and then you just turn it off, and it's just no big deal. So it's extremely user-friendly, and I can slide it out to change the batteries or whatever, and yeah, it's just, they work great.
Yeah.
Anything else would be too complicated, so I just kept it simple.
But the transparent pieces, were they hard to source?
Yeah.
I know the blue ones were actually from the store, right?
The blue ones I got from the store, those are 2x6s. They're very rare. They didn't come out in a lot of sets, I'll just say that. They're very cool. And the other one is combined 1x2s, I think.
Gotcha. So 1x2s and some different other colored plates in there.
Yeah, a lot of transparent plates that really react to light very nicely. And yeah, that's all I used. I literally just built 2 holes in the middle of a plate and just stuck that on his face. You know, so nothing to it.
Exactly. So you got these 2 so far, and they look fairly similar other than color scheme.
Yeah.
Do you have any future plans for the Tree Guardian?
I do. I'm taking my time, though. I've got some very cool leaf parts on the way. It'll take a while for them to actually get here. But the next one is to hopefully make a willow tree with it. He would have 2 sticks in his hand. Now, notice they're playing instruments like the banjo and the cello, of course. They're very fun. I want to keep the music band vibe going. So I'm going to be making a willow tree with large, almost like dreadlocks kind of going out of his head a little bit. So it's sort of like that.
Yeah,
it's like a palm tree almost, but he's going to be a willow tree. And he'll be taller and skinnier, just a little bit. So he'll have maybe more ant-like shape. He's going to have a more dramatic pose, and he's going to be striking these crystals. You kind of inspired me with your stuff there, bro. These crystals with little LEDs, hopefully if I can get those in there.
Yeah. And
it'll be like one of those, not a xylophone, but it's like that rod with all those chimes that get larger, progressively larger, and you can string them to make
like wind chimes almost.
Almost like wind chimes. He's gonna be playing wind chimes,
drumming them, yes.
as he's dancing around. So that'll be very cool. And after that, I hope to make a pine tree character who's shorter, but his hair goes taller. So he'll be just as tall as the others, but his face will be like down here. So you have more of a variant in height.
Variety of character
shapes,
right?
Right. All shapes and sizes. So yeah, that'll be fun. So.
Very cool. Well, looking forward to those builds, Stephen. Hopefully they turn out well. And thank you for bringing these in and showing these off. I'm sure the people viewing at home will really appreciate a close-up look at these really colossal tree titans.
Oh yeah, they're fun.
Yeah.
Oh, if you want to see the real one, the big one, the original, you just go to Legoland, Florida. He's down there. He's on public display.
People often ask what happened to the final builds. All 3 of the ones from our season are currently on display in Legoland, Florida, behind the coffee shop in the little museum area by their master builder area.
That's right, yeah.
That's where all their workers build the models, and right in front of that is our models kind of watching
big
them
old
work,
models are just sitting there. So yeah, it's very cool. If you ever get, or if you're in Florida, if you get the chance, go check out Legoland. They're really cool. And they were very kind to us.
Great people, very nice. So yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you like Stephen's Tree Guys, and leave a comment. Let us know which one of these 2 you like the most, and which one you're most looking forward to that Stephen's going to make.
Name your favorite.
Exactly. Name your favorite.
They won't be offended.
They're pretty chill, right?
Yeah, they're very chill. Yeah, they just strum in their instruments.
And we'll have more videos like this coming out soon, so don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.